It's Amanda Hart, and the product I've chosen for my user flow is Konnective, which is a school app. And the user flow is the parents sign up for volunteering for an event. In this case, I've focused specifically on a walkathon just to help the people I was researching really get into the mindset. And I did a bit of desktop research. What I found is I think schools are becoming really digitized at the moment, not necessarily really focused on what the users, the parent group, really wants. I think it's more of a hurry for the school to put in place technology so that, almost as a barrier, so that parents asking the school for information are met by a different level of engagement than they've historically been, so that teachers can focus on the teaching. And so you'll see online a proliferation of different apps and websites. Okay, so the hunch I've got is that when the schools go to ask parents to volunteer is that they are making it too complicated, that it needs to be a simpler user flow, and that they just need to be more make it easier so that you can revisit your information. You can say, yes, I want to volunteer, sign up within the app without having to travel out of it, and make it easy. So anyway, I went off and did my research. So the research that I've done, the people I chose matched my persona. I want to show you very quickly. Here's my typical persona. Busy parent of 2 school children, 45 years old, female, works part-time. And the kind of thing this person's going to say is, I'm really, really busy. Please make it easy for me. I'm happy to go online and do it, but just give me the information I need. I don't have a lot of time to be mucking around because I'm multitasking, and yeah, it's hard work. So we won't look at that just yet. The thing that I then went and did was I did contextual research, but I also did some SAS testing. Actually, you can see some of the questionnaire I asked up here, and I also did some ideation. So what came out of that, I was looking at these 3 people, and I'm seeing they were sort of a bit embarrassed that they weren't familiar with the app, that they couldn't find the information they wanted to find. They sort of fumbled around a little bit, so it took quite a long time for them. They voiced their frustration, which was great, and I sort of asked them to elaborate a bit more, and then it sort of led into an ideation area where they were making suggestions, which was great because I was seeking that, and the kind of things that I was seeing when I synthesized it is they're saying, we're time poor, can you keep it all within the app? Don't make us travel outside of the app, it needs to be easy. And the school had been doing things like embedding links into the app, and say a link might lean off to Sign Up Genius, or it may link out to Google Spreadsheet, and the school is actually creating a barrier to sign up. So parents had said in the research, I'm not going to get a Google account, so don't link to Google Sheets, because if you do that, I won't volunteer. So I came away from it thinking to myself, all right, one of my recommendations is that we explore, how do we do this all within the app? How do we meet the time needs these time poor parents have? So some of them want this information at the last minute, some of them want it at the start of the term, 3 months in advance. How can we also make it more social? Because some of these themes that came out of synthesizing the post-it notes are, we want to see who else is volunteering. It might not stop us from volunteering, but it might encourage us. So I'm thinking, okay, how do we really cash in on that social side of things and, use that to our advantage? So some of my recommendations also were, how do we make it so that they can change the information if they need to? And then we moved to the processes of ideation, and you can actually just see behind me here, I've done a quick 8, and some of the ideas that I've come up with are, things like having a little button, which actually did pass the user testing when I went back to iterate, which is V for volunteer on the home screen, so that for those parents who wanted the volunteering opportunity the day before, they would see it come through in the last minute call for volunteers if they hadn't filled all the spots. But those people who want to know at the start of a term, 3 months in advance, they could go in here and see every opportunity listed there and sign up at that point. So that was one of the ideas that came out of the ideation board. And as you can see, they're just really rough sketches. There wasn't too much detail in them. Also, one of the other ideas was, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could hover over a button in a time slot and they can see who else is volunteering? Let's go back and test that and see if they like it. So I chose how to prioritize it. I looked at the concentric circles. I could see very easily I had lots of access to the users to find out whether this was going to be desirable. From a business point of view, the school is highly motivated to get this volunteering work because events don't run unless it works. And from a technological point of view, it's a little bit harder for me to figure out whether it's viable from a tech point of view without access to the app developer. But in a perfect world, I'd be working for that business that developed the app, and we'd be able to do that aspect as well. So the next bit that I then went on to was a paper prototype, which you can just see here, a very rough paper prototype, and I went back and tested against 3 new users who also fit the persona, and just a couple of little things came out of that that I really needed to add to that low fidelity prototype. And you know, they were things like we don't have a home button and we want to be able to cancel or reschedule. So let's have a look at the mid-fidelity prototype. So here is your home screen of the phone, and it's the Konnective app you can see here, and it's my feed. So someone is logged in to their feed, and you can see the school calling out for volunteers for the walkathon event, probably a photo here. The copy has been minimized vastly. So this is all that they wanted out of the research. Just tell me how many parents for how many hours and what time is it on what date. Find out more? Yes, please. So then they click in to find out more. And here they get to a page that says you can hover over one of the time slots to see who else is volunteering. And hopefully at this point they're really excited because they want to spend time with their friends or maybe avoid people that they want to avoid. You know, people were very sort of subtle about that, but I suspect that also is part of what's going on. So let's say they've hovered over 2 to 4 p.m. and here we can see there are 4 slots available. 2 have been taken and 2 are still available. And then they think, oh no, hang on a minute, I want to see what about 4 till 6? That suits me better. So they hover over 4 to 6 and they say, oh, I'm good friends with Tara and there's 3 slots available, so I think I'll volunteer in this time slot, 4 to 6. So the hovering has gone away because at this point they've selected 4 to 6. It's taken them to the next screen, and the next screen is saying, you are confirmed. So they now know that was successful. They know there's their date, and now they have the choice. They can either click this button that saves it to their calendar, or they can do it manually, which they were all complaining about. So likely they're going to click this button, save to your calendar, or they can return home and do it manually. So there's that home button we needed. And now they've chosen to save it to their calendar, and it just says, thank you for volunteering, there's the time. And then a little bit of education is going to have to happen because this V is new. It says, we've saved the date to your calendar. To view details or make changes on your volunteering, click the volunteering icon on the home page. It looks like this, and there it is there. You can see it living at the top. You remember when, so normally it would finish there, but one of the things that we discovered in the research is that people wanted to know, how am I going to either cancel or reschedule if I need to? And let's have a look at how that would work. So they've gone into their home page. It's still got the latest feed. They've gone up to V for volunteer, and it's taken them to My Volunteering. And you can see this person, they signed up for Walkathon School Fete, click into Walkathon, and then they have the option. They can either change it or cancel it. So they're going to change it, and then it takes them back in. They can choose another time. Or they could have gone and chosen Walkathon, cancel. And then it says, you've cancelled. That's all. I'm sorry it's over 5 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed my video.